Good day, everyone. How's everybody getting along? Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. What do we got going on? What is this on your screen? Is this a nor'easter in the summertime? Yep, it is a nor'easter in the summertime, and it's going to resemble, if you look there on the model, it almost resembles of a hurricane, but it is a nor'easter, I assure you that. And what do we got going on here in the western Gulf of Mexico? A 20% chance through day 5. Will this materialize? It is an area of tropical disturbance moving up through the Yucatan and eventually the western Gulf come the weekend. We'll take a look at all that and the rest of your tropics and weather and this changing weather pattern. All right, so take a look at the infrared satellite picture. This is the system we're going to be watching for potential development into the western part of the Gulf of Mexico come this weekend in particular. You can see it is really packing a punch here. It's really coming up along the Central American coastline, and it'll follow a track up very similar to this towards Belize. So we'll watch this in the coming days. It's really got a lot going for it, but it will interact with land a lot. And look at this. This is our nor'easter forming in the northeast. You see a couple of vortices here. You can see one and then another one over here. One will eventually win out here. So look at this copious amounts of moisture. This is eventually going to start plowing into southeastern New England overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday. Take a look at that. This thing's got a lot of moisture with it here along the East Coast. So, all right, if we take a look at the rest of the tropics here, let's kick this into motion and see what we got going on in the Atlantic. So there is that system there into the Caribbean over the Yucatan Peninsula by this point. Take a look at this. This is Thursday, 5 p.m. So this system is literally going right over land, and that is why we have the area here into the western Gulf. So we're going to watch for that. And, of course, out here in the Atlantic, things look pretty quiet, as well as the eastern Pacific as well. But we'll take the Atlantic first here because this is where we start all of the tropics. And as we continue in time, this system kicks up here into the western Gulf. This is by Friday at 11 a.m. And as we continue to kick this through time, take a look at this. This starts to look a little bit more impressive as it approaches. So look at that, the northern coastline of Mexico here, and even South Texas, Brownsville area. So from La Pesca up to Brownsville, Texas, you might want to keep an eye on this. Even if you're up in Corpus Christi, definitely keep an eye on this system. And, you know, the western Gulf, yeah, definitely keep an eye on this because this could swing up. Let's see how close it comes, actually. And look at this interesting feature. Is this another nor'easter forming here after the Tuesday, Wednesday nor'easter? Or is this a potential tropical system? We'll have to watch for this here. You know, these frontal boundaries, they kick off some of these systems here. And look what's coming off the coastline here of the Cape Verdes. That is a very large area to potentially watch here as we go in time. But actually, let's take a look here and see what happens with our Gulf of Mexico system. It does move inland there. This is by Saturday, 5 p.m., so it's definitely making landfall by this point. Rest of the Gulf looks pretty benign and quiet, but this is our next feature here. Take a look at this. This is looking pretty impressive here. So this part of the tropics, you know, you don't see as much dust this time of year, and look at that. You're starting to see all this scour out. It's looking a bit more clear, and this system, I'll tell you, you know, if it keeps it up here on each model run, it's holding pretty consistent. We'll see what the Euro shows momentarily here. But look at as we go in time, this actually forms into something. This is Tuesday or Wednesday, August 24th here. Look at this. This is pretty interesting. So it is taking a more northerly track, but you see it is kind of holding together. It was there for a bit before it became what looks like a low-level circulation. And then here in the Gulf of Mexico, we have something trying to form as well. Look at this. This is right around Friday, August 26th, the 27th. So if you're in the central and northern Gulf here, definitely want to keep an eye on this feature through Saturday, August 27th here. And look at this. So out here into the Atlantic, things are looking a bit more interesting as we go into the 4th week of August because we're going to be approaching the peak of hurricane season here. Take a look at this feature in the Gulf. This is really far out, but it is interesting to take a look and see what the trends are on these systems. And, you know, this is quite a large system. This might be a system to watch come the 4th week of August here with this trend. These stalled out frontal boundaries can often kick up something. And let's take a look as we continue through the rest of August, and we might get a glimpse of the beginning of September here. Look what happens here. That system moves inland, maybe a big rainmaker, but look at these systems out here into the eastern Atlantic here. So, you know, the previous GFS run, we had a major hurricane forming out here. How quickly that kind of fell apart here, you can see we do have some areas of development, but, you know, when you're looking this far out, you're just looking for trends at this point. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Euro, see what happens here. There's that nor'easter off the east coast here. I'm going to show you that momentarily on the bigger picture here, but take a look at this. So we have what we got going on here into the Central American coastline here, and as we go in time, let's see what the Euro does with it. This is Friday. It does bring it up. See that? It's a little bit further south than the GFS, but it's the same idea. Actually, if you paint it like this, brings it up just like that. So it brings it at landfall just south of South Texas. That seems to be the trend, but South Texas, you're not out of the woods just yet. As we go in time, let's see if the Euro is kind of painting a picture of anything. There is a low pressure system forming by about the time. This is Thursday, August 25th here on the loop. You can see, and what's going on here. So let's back this up just momentarily. You can see this system is literally going up into the western Gulf of Mexico in response to this high pressure building further westward here. So it's not allowing it to go into the eastern and north central Gulf here. That is the key here. And as we go in time, you can see there is a potential system out here into the Atlantic, but it kind of gets sheared apart. There's another system forming out here by Wednesday, August 24th here. And let's see, we go to the end of the Euro here, and yeah, things are looking pretty active here. We're going to have going to the 4th week of August. I think things are really going to start ramping up here. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Pacific real quickly here. Let's take a look. We're going to start from the very beginning here, right? Let's see. So, yeah, we're not looking at too much. What the trend I want to show you in the Eastern Pacific is, yeah, you do have some of these systems that kick up and move up along these coastal Mexican tourist towns, which are really nice, you know, especially this time of year, Acapulco up to Puerto Vallarta. So you're going to get some rainfall. This is right around this weekend, Saturday, August 20th. But look at this. You see things becoming a bit more quieter here in time, which is good news for you here into the Eastern Pacific and the Western Mexican coastline. What this spells is bad news for the Atlantic, because when the Eastern Pacific kind of goes crickets, the Atlantic becomes alive. And that's just kind of like the trend we've seen over the years. This is, you know, the energy transfer. So as we go to the Western Pacific, let's take a look and see if there's any systems. There's a lot of invest systems out here we have to watch. So let's take a look the rest of this week. You know, we have a system here north of the Philippines. Take a look at this. This is a pretty interesting system. Another system down here, another one out here. And look at this, there's kind of a frontal boundary up here in Japan at the moment with some tropical moisture. So as we put this in time, let's see if there's anything interesting to look at. Yeah, as we go in time, we don't see any major typhoons here, but, you know, that doesn't say there's not going to be one, although things do start to get a bit more quieter with the exception. Look at this. This is by August 27th here. This is east of Tokyo, Japan, and then another system out here trying to form here in the Intertropical Convergence Zone. But as we continue in time here, let's take a look. Yeah. This could be a typhoon here by August 28th. Look at this. This is Tokyo. So, you know, it's coming up like this. We'll see if it misses Japan at this point. Let's take a look. It's interesting to see these. This is 300 hours. Yep. Just as I thought, it recurves it out into the Pacific, but sometimes these can smack Japan pretty hard here. All right, so let's take a look at the nor'easter here. This is a summertime nor'easter. Now, this is going to provide some very beneficial rains here for the Northeast. Take a look at this. This is like right around 2 a.m. early Wednesday morning. As we put this into motion, look at that. It almost looks like it has an eye. It's not, but it is interesting to look at here on the modeling. This is 9 a.m. Wednesday morning, so you're going to be looking at some big-time rains up here in Boston, Worcester, Providence, Springfield, Hartford, these areas, Cape Cod. It would not be surprised if some of these bands output a half to 3/4 of an inch an hour, and you definitely need the rain at this point. You definitely do. It's just ridiculous how dry things have been, and you're in an extreme drought here from Boston down to Rhode Island and much of Cape Cod as well. So as we continue to put this into motion, this is where things get really interesting. Look at this, 12 p.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m. these bands start to form and spiral back towards the west here. So you're going to get some beneficial rains back towards, especially west of the I-81 corridor. But take a look at this. You kind of see of a dry slot here from New York City up to the southern Catskills, Poconos, and into the southern Hudson Valley. In northern New Jersey. Unfortunately, you're kind of like, I don't know, there's energy coming down here from the north. And, of course, all the energy is bottled up here to your northeast. So you're kind of, at this point, not seeing any of this beneficial rain. But as we put it into motion, let's see if things change here. This center of circulation has been trending more offshore. That's interesting because, it was much further onshore just about 24 hours ago. But as you take a look at this, we're still getting pretty decent rains. This is 8 p.m. Wednesday evening. And look at this, mostly west of Interstate 81 in New York and Pennsylvania. That is where you're going to be seeing some of these showers and thunderstorms up towards the Capital District, Albany. And look at this. It might actually stay dry all day from the Poconos, Catskills, southern Hudson Valley here, northern and most of New Jersey. And look at this. I hate to say it, but Long Island not getting too much rain out of this either. It mostly stays to the eastern tip of Long Island on northeastward here. And as we continue in time, let's see what happens. It looks like the center of circulation kind of plows right into eastern Maine here, so right just south of Bangor, that's where you're going to see some of the showers and thunderstorms. But look at this, we continue with showers and thunderstorms right around the Boston area, spiraling bands to the north and west of this system, and takes a lot of the heavier rain up into eastern Canada with it here. And let's see if this actually moves out of the picture by Thursday. Well, actually, it's going to stick around Thursday morning. It takes a trend more towards the west here, right up, so it kind of makes proverbial landfall, if you want to call it that, and then heads towards the northwest. So it's going to bring some of these shower and thunderstorm activity into northern Vermont and New Hampshire as well. And then we start to dry things out here across the rest of the northeast. What's going on here across the southeast? Well, it is a bit on the interesting side. Let's take a look. So as we go in time here, we'll take the same mesoscale model here. HRRR is really good with these thunderstorm complexes. And you see you get a pretty decent one. There's a marginal threat of some severe weather. This is 7 a.m. Wednesday morning. You're still nice and clear here along the Gulf Coast. Enjoy it because your tropical season's going to be ramping up. What is this over here? Well, this is an interesting feature we'll be watching in time, too, to see if this actually, causes any sort of thing. It looks like it's going to head out to sea, though. That's the tail end of our nor'easter here. But as we go in time, take a look. Showers and thunderstorms really start to blossom along the Gulf Coast come your evening time. So if you're sitting out on the back porch and you start seeing these gully washers pop up, yeah, some of these could contain, some small hail, gusty winds, 40, 50 miles per hour. Some of these could be severe south of Jacksonville. Take a look at that. We'll actually zoom in on that. Some of these could really become severe. Look at that. It's just south of the Jacksonville, Gainesville area. Yeah, so just north of Orlando here. Definitely want to keep an eye on it here over towards Mobile, Alabama, and Pensacola, these areas, and scattered about through Texas where you do terribly need the rain as well. And as we continue this in time, those kind of fizzle out throughout the overnight into the early morning, and then we get another big complex here, kind of scattered about here Thursday afternoon. So let's start off with the mesoscale rainfall amounts here. We'll start off with the NAM 3 kilometer. Always nice to look at, but sometimes it can underdo or overdo things. Nice trend here, but let's take a look at this. We'll analyze this pretty quickly here. Take a look at the rainfall totals from Cape Cod down into Rhode Island here. It's not bringing all of this heavier rain, this 3.5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-inch totals that are just offshore. It's bringing, anywhere from a half to 3/4 of an inch. And then you see these gully washers west of Interstate 81 in New York and Pennsylvania. Some isolated areas could get an inch or two out of these. And then look at Maine being plastered up here with 1, 2, maybe 3 inches, locally higher amounts possible. Now, let's get into, we'll take the HRRR here. Let's take a look. So as we put this into motion, let's see what we got here. It takes us through Thursday morning. So, yeah, it's very similar here to the NAM 3 kilometer. So it is a little bit further inland with the higher totals, 1 inch or so, and it keeps this torrential rain just offshore here. I don't think you need that much. I mean, that would cause flooding, unfortunately, because you're in an exceptional drought. But it would be nice if some of this got a little bit closer so you could get more of a soaking. Then we kind of see a hole, just like on the NAM 3 kilometer, and then a good general 1 to 2 inch soaker up here. and some gully washers west of Interstate 81 in New York and Pennsylvania. So let's get to the Euro high resolution here, the more global models. So you're going to see it's going to be more of a rough sketch here on the global models, as always is. That's okay. We're looking for generalized trends here. So here across, east of this line, that's where the most significant rainfall is going to be. You see this down here into southern part of Hudson Valley, New Jersey, Long Island. It's almost like a hole here of energy up into parts of the Poconos and Catskills. You're not going to see much rain. Your energy is going to be stuck to the west here and stuck to the east. And you can see here on the Euro, you get a pretty good soaking up through here across parts of Maine, Cape Cod. But it's not, the torrential rain. In fact, the Euro's been trending a little bit further to the east here. Now, if we take a look at the GFS, let's take a look at that. It's always good to get a good idea of what all the models are thinking here. Take a look at that. The GFS is kind of, well, actually, we can go with the 18Z on the GFS. Here we go. Yeah, it's pretty similar here. There's their energy back towards the west here. This is bringing it a little bit further to the north and west. Worcester up towards an inch to inch and a half. This would give you more beneficial rains. I kind of think this is, kind of the solution. We're more closer to thinking here. Kind of a hole in the activity. Look at this. No rain. This is what I'm talking about. From Binghamton down to Atlantic City, New Jersey, over towards Long Island, southwestern Connecticut. Nothing at all. But look at Maine, a big soaker. This could put a big dent in your drought as well. And you're seeing in that horribly exceptional drought here around Boston. Hopefully this knocks it down just, at least just slightly. So as we take a look at the high-resolution Euro precipitation totals across the nation, we'll take it through the weekend here and into early next week. You can see there it is. That's tropical system out of the Gulf, kind of keeping it from South Texas on south here. Look at the monsoon along the western Mexican area up into the desert southwest. This is crazy. 4 to 8 inches of rain. And look at even the southeast here. Quite a bit in the rate of rain, 1 to 3 inches in some of these purple and darker shaded colors here. All right, so we're going to look for trends here. We're going to go out through the rest of August, maybe the beginning of September here. You see here through Friday, August 19th, this is troughiness here. So we got this big ridge out west here. That's going to continue. Another trough here. Now let's see as we go through the rest of August. Is this pattern going to hold? It sure does look like it. You see across North America, this is just craziness here. We're going to see some at or below average temperatures. And a big trough up here. This is going to push this ridge out west even further to the north here in time. But what you're starting to see up here is some hints of polar vortex. That's something that you don't normally see, this time of year. But let's take a look as we head throughout time. We're starting to see response here. Look at this major ridge that's going to plow this trough back east. And this high pressure is continuing to strengthen just northeast of Bermuda. That's going to play a factor in any tropical systems that do form. It's going to push them more towards the Gulf in the southeastern part of the United States. So as we continue in time here, take a look at this. That pattern continues until about the last week of August, beginning of September, where we really start to bring on some ridging here. And look at this. There's just like everything becomes weak steering currents here. So this could spell disaster for all these tropical systems, any one of these that are forming. All right, so let's see what we're going to go with the heat. The heat's really being squelched here across the east. This is Wednesday, August 17th. Take a look at all these areas in the 70s north of this red line. You're even stuck in the 60s into parts of the northeast here with that nor'easter. Look at that out west. Triple-digit heat all the way up into Washington State here. And look at, we're squelching that heat to the south here into your Thursday. Look at this. This is not too bad across the northeast. And 80s way down along the Gulf Coast. You'll probably take it this time of year, right? Definitely looking really nice. And we start to warm it up again into the northeast. I told you this was coming, mid to upper 80s approaching the northeast by Friday here. And look at this. Into Saturday, Albany, New York's 90, 88, and all Boston there and Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. So we've got this connection here. It's coming back. But look what's coming down, barreling down the pike here into the upper Midwest. Oh, look at that. 70s making their way east here. So we got another hot day in the northeast of upper 80s, low 90s here into Sunday and into Monday. Let's see what happens. We start to plow this towards the southeast. This is the trend. We're going to knock this 80-degree and 90-degree line eastward here, and look at that. Things are going to cool off. Well, here we go. Extended outlook, upper Susquehanna River Valley from Binghamton to Scranton. Take a look at this. Wednesday through Sunday. So we have that chance of showers and thunderstorms, particularly if you're just west of Interstate 81. If you're east of Interstate 81, it's probably not going to happen. Less than 1/10 of an inch, but some of those gully washers that do get them up to a 1/4 inch or even a little bit more. Thursday, we have another chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Very minimal chance, though, about 20% chance. But look at this. Friday, Saturday, we dry it out, but we kick up the heat. It will be a dry heat, thankfully. 91 on Saturday. Nice sleeping weather, though, 57. And Sunday, a chance of showers, high near 90. Thanks for joining me, watching. Don't forget to share, smash the like button. Question or comment down below. Let's keep the weather conversation going here. I love to read your questions or comments. Over at my social media pages, Media Mark on Facebook, also Weather Northeastern, Hurricane Northeastern, also Susquehanna Weather, and you can visit me on Twitter at Weather Eastern. Thanks for joining me.